doing the summary session, we have done this. We have done this also. And today's session is, that is your about the ARC company. Okay, so let's understand one by one. ARC company, it include registration of these company, their functionals freedom and the RBI restriction. So if we talk about the ARC company, so it have to be registered with the Reserve Bank of India. There are some stipulation for capital requirement and for raising the same. The existing company required the registration. There are various conditions based on which registration is considered by the RBI. As we know that if any company want to establish, so every company have the registration is compulsory for each company, okay, but for the ARC company it have to be registered with the RBI. We have seen when registration of the company is can be cancelled and the reason thereof, how financial assets are required is important, and it involved the detailed procedure. The effect of contract deed suit involving security in the asset also seen. So basically the main work of ARC company, as you can easily see, is to just take loan from the, just take the security receipt from the bank and financial institution, and that will pay the money to the bank. So this is the particular process of your SARFAESI Act. The ARC company can take various measures for realization from the assets. The Act provides for dispute settlement between the bank, financial institutions, and asset recognition company and qualified buyer by the arbitration. So what is arbitration? C class. First of all, you have to remember the dispute should be between bank, financial institution, ARC company, and qualified buyer. So there are three persons. One, this is two, and this is three. So if the dispute is between these three personalities, so they have to be solved by the arbitration. So if we see the term arbitration, so that is the method of your ADR. Alternative, what is the full form? Alternative dispute resolution. This is your ADR, okay? So basically in ADR, suppose X versus Y matter is there, X versus Y, and this A is the arbitrator. So arbitrator is the person who just solved the dispute between the parties. It is just similar like your conciliation, because in conciliation also the conciliator will be the person who will solve the dispute. So these are, you can say, the helper of the bank, because the helper of the court, because in the court we generally see that court we have to follow so much procedure, but in the ADR system we do not have to follow so much procedure. They can make their own procedure. So that's why this is the different thing. So that can become in the form of question that through arbitration, what are the parties' name under this one? So this is important, okay? And what is the last line? That RBI has power to issue the various guidelines under this act. So this is your third point. Okay, next. Okay, so let's do the question. So there are, I think, 9 questions here. Okay, number 1 question. ARC company needs registration from RBI for commencement of the business. What will be the right answer? What will be the right answer here? Tell me, guys. Yes, class. That is true and false. So I think we have just read this. So ARC company needs registration from RCA, that is RBI, that is true one. This is absolutely true. Right of acquisition of financial assets by ARC company is subject to the prior agreement or contract about the assets. right of acquisition of financial assets by the ARC company is subject to the prior agreement or contract about the assets. That is right and wrong. That is right and wrong. Tell me, class. Right of acquisition of a financial assets by the ARC company is subject to the prior agreement or contract about this one. So guys, for the second one, right of acquisition of a financial assets by the ARC company subject to the prior agreement, that is absolutely false. Second one, false is the right answer. Acquisition of financial assets by ARC company is with the liability also over such an asset. So what is question? Acquisition of a financial assets by ARC company is with liability also over such an assets. It is a liability. It is the liability class. That is absolutely, that is false. That is not true. That is not true. For each assets acquired or to be acquired by ARC company, there should be dash scheme. Each assets acquired and to be acquired by ARC company, there need to be separate scheme that you have to learn. Separate. Okay, you have to learn this point. When ARC company issue security receipt, the holder is entitled to a dash in the financial assets. When ARC company issue the security receipt to the qualified buyer, the holder is entitled to a dash in the financial assets. Holder is entitled to the, you have to remember this, undivided interest. That is the undivided interest in the this one. So fifth, undivided interest will be the right answer. So these are the things that you have to remember. The security receipt issued by ARC company require registration. Security receipt. For this thing, we require the registration. Sixth one. So for security receipt, we don't think we require the registration. This is totally false. Okay. Any direction issued by RBI under the SURFACI Act has dash effect and is or dash on the parties concerned. Seventh one. Any direction which is issued by RBI under the SURFACI Act is a dash effect, whether it is legal effect, statutory effect. So if I say you the legal word, that is the statutory effect, and that is a binding on the parties or not? That is, you can say, binding on the parties. Okay, so for the seventh one, binding will be the right answer. Okay. After application of SURFACI Act, what have the existing company to do about the RBI? After application of the SURFACI Act, what have the existing company to do about registration with RBI? They are automatically deemed to be registered. They are required to stop functioning. Existing company do not require registration, and they have a get registered within 6 months from the commencement of the act. So what will be the right answer for 8th question? After application of the SURFACI Act, what have the existing company to do about registration with RBI? Automatically, no. They are required to stop functioning, no. Existing company do not require registration, no. They do get registered within 6 months from the commencement of this act. This is important one. Which from amongst the following is a reason for cancellation of registration of ARC company without hearing the opportunity. That thing I have already told you. Our company does not keep accounts as per RBI norms. Company ceases to carry the business of securitization and reconstruction. The company failed to hold investment from this, and the company does not fulfill any condition imposed at the time of registration. So what will be the right answer for this question? Tell me, class. So for this question, the right answer is ceases to carry the business of securitization and the reconstruction. So B is the right answer. Okay, B will be the right answer. Now, this question. In this chapter, we have seen the detail about enforcement of securities by bank and financial institution and the procedural requirement thereof. Okay, so we have discussed how on default being committed by borrower, the creditor can enforce security as per provision, because we know that under the SARFAESI no court intervention is required. The service of notice calling for payment or on failing to pay, the creditor can invoke the provision for take over the assets and management. Right? After notice, the TP transfer of property by the borrower is prohibited. Yes, because notice means that is a warning. As per section 13 clause 3a, the borrower may on receipt of notice from secured creditor make representation or raise objection, in which case the secured creditor has to consider the representation and objection, and if it is not tenable or acceptable, it has to be communicated to the borrower within 15 days from the receipt of the representation. This is all about that. Suppose if the creditor want to sell that property, so they have to be informed. They have to be informed. Creditor can also call for payment due to the borrower from the third party. For the remaining dues after sale of assets, the remedy at civil court DRT is open at the jurisdiction. For initiating various action under the Act, there is a need of authorized person. While taking possession of assets, various precautions are required. Yes. For taking possession, help of the Chief Metropolitan Magistrate and District Magistrate or any authorized person is required. Exactly. In such event, the possession is taken by such authority and handed over the creditor. Against the possession notice, appeal can be made. An appeal, or we always say that appeal, that is the highest authority we have to file the case. And for the appeal, if you want to file the case, that we have to pay the 50% if you want to file the case to the DRT. Right? Now, ARC means dash by any assets, reconstruction company of any right interest of the creditor in respect of any what. This is the fill in the blanks that you have to fulfill. See, ARC company means acquisition by any ARC company of any rights interest of the creditor in respect of the any financial assistant. So you have to remember this one, financial assistance. SARFAESI Act is applicable to the RRB also. Regional Rural Bank. So SARFAESI Act applicable to the RRB, that is false, not apply. RRB, because in RRB, I don't think we just take so much of loan or etc. So that's why in the SARFAESI there is a special provision that is made in this one. Okay. Mortgage or assets backed debt instrument can be issued by ARC company to the general public. We just give it to the general public, and I don't think that the general public is involved in this one. So answer is totally false. A guarantor to the loan is within the meaning of word borrower under SARFAESI Act. That is true and false. a guarantor to the loan is with the meaning of the word borrower under this one? The answer is true. SURFACE Act is applicable only when there is a security. Yes, because unsecured SURFACE will not apply. Has SURFACE Act defined hypothecation and whether such act is applicable to the hypothecation? First of all, under SURFACE, Section 2N defined the hypothecation and it is applied to the hypothecation security. The answer is absolutely yes. Okay. On giving default notice by the creditor, the borrower gives a reply. What should creditor do? Creditor means that is a bank and financial institution. Seventh one. Ignore the notice as the law does not provide any reply options to the bank. Wait until borrower initiate any legal action and give due consideration to the reply as per requirement of the statute. Seventh one. And take the matter before DRT for resolving the issue raised in reply. For the seventh one class, C will be the right answer. On sale of security assets, the sale proceeds are appropriated firstly. Sale of security asset, the sale proceeds are appropriated firstly toward satisfaction of dues of secured creditor, toward payment of dues of labor, toward payment of cost, charges, expenses for preservation and protection of security, and toward payment of legal cost incurred by the creditor for taking possession and effecting sale. What will be the right answer for the eighth question? For the eighth one, the right answer will be C. This is the right answer. 8th, C will be the right answer. Okay. So I think for today's session, this segment is enough for today's work. Okay. We will do it tomorrow, and